forsake them. Trying to reach this ultimate with no ultimatum. Proverbials conveying my verbatim proof operations.
Oh, boy. Welcome back, everybody. It is Monday night, and we are fully decompressing after an amazing UFC 226 event here. Just a quick shout-out to our sponsors, 80K Fightwear, Black Hole Jiu-Jitsu, Madama Jiu-Jitsu, 2-Minute Warning Sports 360, and our Fightbook MMA family. I am your host, the Reverend Tommy D., joined with me by the Latin sensation who's taking pride rules across the nation, the real American who floated in on the door, El Profesor Omar Sangrima. ¿Qué pasa, señor?
Chilling, man. I'm telling you. You roll the R's, you can get away with as many slurs as you want. So I'm good with it. I'm fine.
I can
That's
be,
okay.
but I have a feeling I'm going to be one of the people who's going over the wall, like in what was that, Fun with Dick and Jane, when he had that big.
I think they're gonna. Yeah.
When his lip
You're a
was messed up.
wildling. Yeah.
You know
they're
what
just gonna
though?
throw you over there.
If I'm going over that wall with you, we could still talk MMA. You just got to teach me Spanish. That's all.
That's fine. I got you, bro. We'll go hang out with Jesse the Body Ventura out there, doesn't he have?
Yes, we
He has
can
a
totally
compound?
do that.
Yo, for sure.
I don't think he likes MMA really though, but that's okay. But we know you, our fans, do. And if you want to call in and talk this past event with us, the number is 917-889-2676. That is 917-889-2676. Buddy, holy shit, was that event good Saturday night. What did you think?
It was insane, dude. Like, up was down, left was right, war is peace. Victory is strength. Like, how many Orwellian references can we make? It's just insane. It was such a great card. Even with the co-main falling out, they made up for it, man. I think everybody just decided to put their big boy pants on and big girl pants on.
Do you remember
Go
the
nuts.
South Park episode when Timmy and Jimmy fought? You remember that?
Yeah, yeah.
That was better than the Francis Ngannou Derek Lewis fight. Just going to throw that out there.
My Lord. We're going. I mean, it's as if the whole rest of the card needed one fight to suck to then have the rest of the card be that good. But holy smokes.
They could have at least replayed CM Punk and Mike Jackson because that was a better fight than that shit fest we were fed.
I could have done some
Saturday
calculus instead. Like, I hate calculus. I mean, the shit was terribly boring. And that's awful because I love the Black Beast, man. But he was even ragging on himself.
As Roberto just said, watching paint dry was more exciting. I would rather watch blind people play golf.
I'd rather watch paint dry
that fight again.
Just because we could kind of maybe huff some of it. Like, it'd be like a slight byproduct. You get slightly high. It'd be fun. Don't knock it. I'm saying.
Well, you got to get that oil-based paint. Maybe I could sell you a case or so the next time Francis Ngannou or Derek Lewis get to fight. I mean, we're going to go over the rest of the card, but I got to ask you this now. Do they need to do that fight again? If I were Dana White, I'd say you two fuckers need to do that again, and you need to beat the living shit out of each other.
Never again. Those two never. Only time I ever want them crossing paths at a UFC is like either at the buffet line or like at a signing for supporting some other heavyweight bout for a little while. I mean, this is the type of fight that gets people demoted to the undercard. Like, this is that type of wild, horrendously unimaginative display of violence. I mean, it wasn't as bad as like Caleb Starnes. Caleb Starnes wasn't there running or playing track or whatever, but it was, holy shit, it was up there. Which is so sad considering that either one of those fighters could stop the fight at any time, landing something decent, but nobody had any interest in actually fighting that evening, which is sad.
Yeah, it was sad. It was sad. I mean,
it was something. Jesus.
The rest of the card was amazing. So, thank God.
Where do they go from here? Do you want to break it down there? Or do you want to at least we'll dissect this one and then forget about it? Like, what happens here? Does Ngannou go I don't know, play soccer. Like, I don't what the fuck, Derek says he has back problems still. Says that that's what was hurting him and that's what kept him from being his dynamic self, at least for a round. What do you do, man? Do they advance their causes? Does Curtis Blades have to fight one of these guys? Like, maybe Derek, I guess. I don't know. He's not a happy guy either after Brock Lesnar gets announced that he's jumping the line. So what do you do? There's a weird logjam at heavyweight now.
Yeah, it's not really a logjam as much as I don't even know. I don't even know, man.
You're still sitting there in shock in terms of.
I was shocked when it happened because I was sitting there saying to myself, like, what possibly be going on here? When you heard Rogan talking about it, and Dominic Cruz too, like maybe Ngannou's, he wants to get through this first round so he doesn't burn himself out. Okay, I could buy that. And then the second round was going on, and it was pretty much the same thing. And then the third round, it's like these guys have to go balls to the wall. And they just didn't. And I made the joke with Cyrus that it's almost like they were paid not to engage with each other. Like, let's get this thing a draw. And I don't know, because it was god awful. It was absolutely god awful.
But to what end, though? Like, I mean, I'm not discounting that. I know you said it in a laughing way, but there's weirder explanations, man. Those two guys, for as big and as KO artists that they both are, I mean, how did they not? Like, even by accident, one of them didn't knock the other one out. Like, they could both knock out fucking horses, man. They could pull the Mongo and just pow, done. How did that not just happen randomly? The law of averages. Like, it was the worst possible outcome for both of their careers, I feel. For both of their careers, because Derek Lewis didn't come out looking anywhere near like he should take a step forward. And then Ngannou's in the fucking twilight zone. You did a nice opinion piece on the rise and fall of Francis Ngannou. It's a great read. What are you gonna do, man? I mean, we can put it to bed at this point at least, because who the fuck knows? At the press conference, I heard Dana was trying to do some things. He was trying to do a little damage control. They did ask him about how bad. What happens when you have such a stinker on a great card? And he's like, well, no, Derek did what he did, and he's getting down on himself, and that's where I learned about the back problem. So I don't know if that's Dana running damage control even for his product, which would be weird, But Derek would deserve that as one of the funnier follows in MMA. But what are you gonna do, man? The rest of the card was great. Let's dig in. What do you think?
Yeah, man. All right, so I'm going to give you the floor. Why don't you start out with the first fight that we had on the card that night? Even though we were both wrong as we picked on the show, with Khalil Roundtree and Gokhan Saki.
I mean, we were both excited because at least Saki was going to be given strikers, but I don't know, man. Everybody can get clipped. Our boy Melvin Manhoff even got clipped a couple times in his career. Towards the end, he was exciting. He wasn't there for a long time. He was there for a good time in some of his last bouts there. Always walking out with that weird dog collar. So I never said anything to him otherwise. But I was shocked. Everybody was. Khalil Roundtree showing that when you put big slabs of beef throwing leather at each other, people will fall. So I don't know. Gokhan didn't look bad. I mean, you know what I mean? So it's not as though we can just chalk it up to Gokhan had a bad day. I mean, he got caught. It was early. It was sudden and it was violent, but nobody, I think, really had Khalil doing work, except for obviously Khalil's family. I think Khalil's mom had a couple dollars bet on him, but everybody thought this was going to be a showcase for Gokhan, and I think the position on the card made it such. Right? They had him being the opener for this reason. They wanted to make some money back on his contract, I think. So,
yeah,
how about you?
I mean, look, well, we said it, on the show, when Khalil Roundtree comes out, he comes out balls to the wall with every shot that he throws, every single one. That's why he always gasses out so much in his fights. So it was kind of like a one-shot deal, because if that had gotten out of the first round, he was going to be so tired. I think Gokhan would have been able to take it over. But you know what? What are you going to do?
A giant cannon with one cannonball, and the cannonball hit him. It connected. God bless him.
Yeah, I mean, hey, the fight was what it was. It did what it was supposed to do on the card. It was supposed to get everybody inside the arena excited and ready to go. And holy hell.
That place came alive, and it didn't stop until our boys fought, So.
Yeah, I was just I can't lie. I was shocked. I did not think that Roundtree was going to be able to last with him. I didn't. I thought that Gokhan would have been too big for him, too strong, too powerful. I mean, yeah, they're both kickboxers, but I think Saki's the more decorated of the two. Don't you agree with that? I mean, he was 100%. The K1 Grand Prix champion.
Yeah, and the champion, and also multiple time participant. So it's not like he was a weird flash in the pan like anybody. I mean, the dude was legit. Everybody was super excited about what was going on, and this is the type of fight that Saki, I think, was set up to win. Man, wouldn't you agree? We both thought so. That this is what they had him for.
I thought it was teed up perfectly. It was teed up perfectly for him. So, I mean, dude, maybe, like you always say, when Father Time starts tapping you on the shoulder,
you get knocked the fuck out by Khalil Roundtree Jr. I'm going to change it now. That's what it's going to be in every context. I'm just going to be like, Father Time catches up to you.
It's almost Khalil up there Roundtree. With a Uriah Hall flash knockout of
Musasi?
What's his name? Yeah, Musasi.
Gegard, man. Gegard wants that one back badly, except he wants it in Bellator. So God bless him, but I'm positive.
And even Uriah Hall, he was on the prelims. I don't know, man. Him and Ngannou definitely need a fight psychologist. Because they get. Well, I mean, we all know why Ngannou was taken out. The UFC did that. They put a rocket up his ass way too soon. Way too soon. We never really got to see what he was like against anybody with a ground game, and it looks like his confidence is completely shot. And Uriah Hall just can't get it together. It's like he peaked on The Ultimate Fighter, and that's what we got. Right?
Oh, Christ. And he showed flat weirdness. And by weirdness, I mean greatness. So, there was a couple times where, if he had that killer instinct, we saw what he was capable of, even outside of the Ultimate Fighter there. But, Christ, man, I'm telling you, he could have been something amazing, I feel. But what are you going to do? Some people can't put the puzzle pieces together, and others find ways to win when they really shouldn't,
Yeah, and you know what? Speaking of putting the puzzle pieces together, let's jump on to our second fight, which was Michael Chiesa against Anthony Pettis. Now, this is another one that we got wrong, because we both did not think Pettis was going to look the way he used to, but Jesus Christ, did he ever. Chiesa missed
he tried weird stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, Chiesa missed weight and said that this is the last time that we're going to see him at 155. I find that kind of strange, considering that, he was like, trying to get a fight with Conor. But okay, you don't want to make 155 pounds anymore. I don't know how he's going to be at welterweight because he got knocked senseless by Anthony Pettis.
He doesn't have the frame, I feel, to succeed at welterweight. They're going to put him in, like, I don't know. Maybe he's not looking for title fights anymore. Maybe he's looking for good paydays and not taxing his body. I get that. But who are you going to put him in there top 5-wise in the welterweight division that's going to make any sense? That's not going to potentially do what Anthony Pettis did to him, but maybe worse and even quicker somehow. Pettis.
I think Mike Perry knocks him out.
Oh Christ! Mike Perry knocks him out. I feel like Kamaru Usman throws him around like a wet rag. Rafael dos Anjos does work to him. Colby Covington does weird things to him. Like no, who else? I mean, maybe you have him fight Emil Mack. I guess a little bit. Like he has some fun fights there, but I don't think he's not going to make a title run unless he sits there and proves everybody wrong and pulls a Rafael dos Anjos, right? Like maybe, but dude,
I don't think he's got the power for welterweight.
I don't think he does. He's perfect for that 165 class if they ever do it. He'd be a guy that I'd watch there. Maybe it would be less taxing on his body. He could go a little more balls to the wall during fisticuff time, and then still not have to deal with those monsters. Picture him going in there with fucking what, Darren Till? Really? Jesus Christ, Till's enormous. Till even a non-stepped out Michael Chiesa.
Cowboy tunes him up at 170.
Yeah, because I don't see Chiesa having. He doesn't have the takedowns to put it where he needs it when he needs to. So I think he gets kept standing with people, like you said, the Cowboy would want to fuck him up. Or he gets put on his back and taken for a ride if people like Usman or Colby Covington just don't want to deal with him standing up, And it's not as though they might not even try their hands at that because Chiesa is not a world beater standing up either. So what are you going to do? It's a bad move, man.
I think he should just stay where he's at. Just stay at lightweight,
100%. He should.
It's the first time he's ever missed weight. I don't understand. You missed weight once, now you don't want to fight in the division anymore?
Maybe he's not wanted to for a while, and I get that. I couldn't make 155 anymore. Fuck it, I'd die. So what are you going to do? But it doesn't make any sense, man. Get that one back with Kevin Lee. Like Kevin Lee at 155 handled them again. I think that we've seen different progressions from those two guys, but Kevin struggles to make weight. That's a struggle I can understand. I don't know. Maybe there's things going on that I don't see. Maybe he carries the weight well, but I don't see. He doesn't have the frame for 170. Not with the way everybody else is cutting weight. You institute different weight cutting procedures, and everybody shifts a weight class here or there. Then yeah, sure. Chiesa, try your hand. I'm not in your shoes. I'm not in your camp. I'm not one to tell you how to fucking run your life. But I don't see him, currently being a conventional UFC welterweight, bro. It's bad.
No.
I get murked.
No.
I get murked.
I don't.
A lot of people.
Let's not take away from how good Pettis actually looked.
Jesus Christ, he did. He tried that jumping shit off the cage again. He tried all sorts of vintage Pettis shit.
I don't want to do the cliche. Yeah. I don't want to do the cliche that, oh my God, Anthony Pettis is back, but he definitely looked a hell of a lot better at 155 than he did at 145.
He looks the best he's looked in a long time. An absolute long time. And I'm almost proud of the guy. Because this is the type of Pettis that we all thought we were going to get treated to consistently when he made the jump from the WEC, especially after his tremendous performance in the WEC, right? I think that wasn't the last fight him and Benson with the Showtime kick. Was that the last fight before?
Kick.
Yeah. So, you come from that, and then he's had fits and spurts. He's flirted with 145 unsuccessfully. Talk about a guy that doesn't have a frame for a division, except in the opposite way. Like, holy shit, him at 145, that was too much. He's a tall guy, lanky guy, and he's built well. Like, it's not like he's a fat ass or anything. So, cutting that much was bad for him. I think it was taken away from his explosiveness. his dynamic ability to create offense. But what do you think? I mean, I know you said don't take away from how well he looked, but is it a function of going against a sucked out Chiesa?
No, because Chiesa wasn't sucked out.
Yeah, he was. 100% he was.
Sucked out.
Come on, man. If he had trouble making that weight, though, do you think he was...
Yeah, but he didn't even try to cut the last weight. He said, no, I'm good. I'm happy to give up 30% of my purse. So he didn't even try.
Think it was a calculated thing then? Do you think he just wanted to be the heavier guy?
I just think he said it's not going to be worth it, me trying to cut that weight because of what you just talked about. Maybe he would be too sucked out. I don't think he was sucked out. I just think Tavis was better that night. If they do that fight again, it might be a different story. I mean, you don't really know. I mean, I was never 100% sold on Chiesa anyway in the past, couple years. I mean, he was great on The Ultimate Fighter, and he's one of those guys that can give you an exciting fight. But anything outside of that, it's just, meh. Would you want to pay to watch him as a headliner?
No. I still, because I feel like you're just going to get a weird, inconsistent product still. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't double down. But then again, you asked me before Saturday, I would have paid Derek Lewis to headline anything. And the fuck do I know? You know what I mean? Like, this game is just crazy, guys.
I still can't believe that fight was as shitty as it was. I still can't believe it.
We got somebody doing a quick 15, though. He's dropping some knowledge.
Yo.
There he is.
What's up, Kareem?
What's going on?
So what's up, man? What's the 15 you got?
I didn't sit and watch the pay-per-view, but I caught enough from the runbacks of the absolute Derek Lewis thing, the huge DC win, Gokhan Saki and taking out that. It was a good card, right up into Ngannou and Lewis, and I'm stunned, I guess everyone else is, that was that bad.
Yeah, because the big Vegas line was, the fight not getting out of the first round. That's almost why I think. What I figured. That's almost why I think. It feels like they got paid to make that fight as shitty as it was. Because everybody lost on that bet, betting that wasn't getting out of the first round.
I was looking at it all right, watching the live stats, and the first thing I saw was the number of punches, and I'm like, man, these guys aren't throwing in value. Maybe they're just throwing haymakers. Then I looked at the round and was like, the fuck? It was less than 60 punches in the end of the third. I'm like, why? Of all the people you could have put in there, you get Derek Lewis, Francis Ngannou, and nobody wants to hit anybody.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Derek Lewis was channeling his inner GSP and throwing switch kicks. That was pretty much it.
What do you even say to that? I saw part of the conference where Dana said to him, Derek Lewis saying, that hurt him more than it did him good. Dana doesn't believe it hurt him because, every other performance he ever has is just you want to see the guy fight. So I'm not saying it wipes it and excuses it, but I don't think it hurts his stock. But what do you think that Francis Ngannou would jump at the chance where his power is his ability to get in and hit is all he really needs? This guy's not really going to try and wrestle fuck you, but he was out of his own mouth, he was too afraid from the last fight to do anything in this one. How does he still have a job?
He needs to drive with the fear. He's got to get there. He's got to drive with a cougar in the back. He's got to, he's got to learn again. The hell? Who says that?
He's got to fucking. He's got to fucking do something because
Yeah.
he got exposed, he got smashed, and now he's afraid. That is like a highly active fighter, like, repeatedly talking about retiring but continuing to fight. Like, bro, you're saying you're afraid, and that's the performance you gave because of it? That guy's fucking Dunsville.
How do you put a guy back in a cage after he says that, though, right? Right,
exactly.
Kareem? Like,
That's what I'm saying. He like it wasn't like his publicist, it wasn't his people, it wasn't coaches. He said, he was still like, had the fear from the last fight on his back, and I'm like, oh my God. Like 2 seconds ago people were afraid of this guy, and now he's afraid to be in the kid. Like, he's like, oh, it's not going to happen again. Yeah, because they're going to give him a few fucking jobbers and, try and build his confidence back up. And he's going to run into another brick wall if he gets anywhere near the top 5 again.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. The heavyweight division is so up in the air now. Well, I guess it's not really up in the air. We'll get to that part later on in the show. But as far as those two are concerned, Omar was asking what you do. I think you run that fight back again. I think you make those two fight each other again. You make them fight each other again. And
how dare you? Stop it.
No, we need goddamn restitution.
No, we don't. Yeah, okay, we need restitution, but how is your answer to the shittiest fight of all time? Kareem, could you set this man straight? He said that crazy business earlier. What the fuck?
Yeah, it sounds like what he's saying is the answer to slavery is more slavery. Like that's 1,000%.
And now I didn't say it. I'm an ally, but I know my boundaries. All right, Kareem. I'll let you take that one. I'm not gonna overstep.
I'm just saying, like,
it's crazy.
Holy shit! Like, you want the answer? The answer to a dog shit terrible fight is to get the same two guys to have another dog shit terrible fight.
The cure for syphilis is gonorrhea, apparently, according to Tommy D. We can quote this. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
It's like Tommy's a doctor, and he's like, you know what, sir? I got something for your HIV. How about a little AIDS? We'll get that HIV out of here. We'll get you some AIDS.
Technically, you won't have HIV.
Who else?
You won't have HIV.
Time out. Who else do you want to see either one of them fight?
Not each other.
First of all,
I know that for sure.
First of all, I'm game to pretty much give Derek Lewis a shot because, like Dana said, he's never had like win, lose, or draw. This guy's never had a shit performance. He made no excuses for it. He didn't say, oh, I was afraid, or he was just like, yo, that was shit. That hurt my stock to him in his own mind. It hurt him more than it helped. I'd be game to see who they throw him in against. Ngannou got exposed. Like Dana said he had a fucking ego problem. He was walking around like he was king shit. Like he's going in to fight Stipe, and he just decides to fuck off to France or fucking Nigeria, wherever the fuck he went. Like, oh, training's not an option for me. This guy's nothing. And then he got exposed. And now he sees that mixed martial arts isn't fucking getting a hot in the cot off of the streets of France and then fucking thinking after throwing a few punches in the gym for a few months that you're just going to go and fucking stone everybody in your way. You got away with it for a little bit. Now he's been exposed, and now he doesn't know what to do with himself.
Yeah, I just think his mental game is completely gone.
Yeah.
I mean, he at least defended a couple takedowns, so I guess that's kind of good.
Listen,
that's about it.
Him defending the couple takedowns is the same thing as a woman fighting off a rapist that she sees coming. She knows nothing's good's going to come from it, but it's not a skill. It's fear. He said it himself. This guy was afraid because of his last fight, and look at what happened. You're
not wrong.
You know what? They keep trotting Uriah Hall out there. That's all I'm going to say. And he's admitted that when the cage door closes, he's a different person. It's almost like he doesn't even want to be in there. So if they keep trotting him out there, they'll keep trotting Ngannou out there.
But look at the difference. GSP says it too. GSP said he's fucking afraid, like he's scared to death every time he goes and fights. His only difference is the better he does,
He
the
wins?
easier it is. Like, yeah, the better he does, the easier it is for him, like, to walk out on his own. Like, it's less to deal with after, like the fear, the like sorrow of losing and everything else. So he does the best he can to get it done and to get back out. And Ngannou apparently, he just freezes up. I guess, like, Lewis got in there and tried something new, like switch kicking. That was asshole-ish. Don't think I would have went in that direction, but
Why? It didn't
Ngannou,
hurt him at all?
yeah, I mean, yeah,
Anything, it
that's
helped
a
win
good
the fight.
point. But, like,
That should
Ngannou,
have been a
in,
draw.
like,
That fight should have been a draw. They never should have gave a winner of that. It should have been a draw. For the referee, which I've never seen ever, stop the fight and tell them they have to engage, the fight should have been a draw.
that's true. Like, I've heard the referee warn, like, when guys are dancing around too long, like, come on, let's see some action. But I've never seen him, like, have to stop and go, all right, listen, guys, this is a fucking fight. Like, do something.
And like for Derek Lewis too, it was almost like, I know he said that his back was hurting him.
Yeah, and people
really
have backed
engage?
it up that people have said, like, that's that's the biggest problem with Lewis and getting them, like, high marquee fights is that he does have some serious back issues, and it's like a flare up and down with him. But I don't know, maybe I don't know that you want to run it back though. But then again, Ngannou's shit. So, like, he's extreme. Like, we knew it from how he's fighting before, but he is, like, Stipe really super exposed him. That dude is crazy one-dimensional. And then what's his face that smashed him in the head? Like,
Curtis Blades?
yeah.
Yikes.
Like that was almost funny. Because, like, that is exactly how I thought it was going to go. But then when you see it happen, it's like, God damn, like, what was Ngannou working on from the last fight? Like, what were you doing?
Distance? Parrying?
He was working on the Tao of Jeet Kune Do. Like, he was trying to do the intercepting fish shit. Nah, bro.
He intercepted some fists, all right.
He intercepted my money so that I wouldn't pay for this fucking garbage. Like,
yeah, mine too.
Jesus Christ. Come on now.
Like, absolutely fucking horrible. And now you got some of the most talented light heavyweights. Like, your fucking Mauler a little while ago was talking about, if shit didn't shake out right at light heavyweight or he had to go up to get the fight he wanted, he would do that. There's not much up there right now. Like, C-level Kane. Like, when is he coming back? And you got Ngannou over there. Like, C-level Kane.
About Kane?
Brady Cat
Kane's
Ngannou.
Not the bee's knees over at AKA anymore. There's a new head honcho there.
Dude, like,
we'll talk about that one as we keep going on. But let's talk about a fight that was actually pretty goddamn exciting before the shit show that ensued with Ngannou and Derek Lewis. Paul Felder and Mike Perry. Mike Perry impressed the living shit out of me. He looked really good. And it's amazing how he said he was only at that camp for like 2 months. So in 2 months' time, they completely transformed his game. Yes, Paul Felder broke his arm, and he stayed in the fight. But those two that was a bloody, bloody fight, and it was definitely worth the money, and it should have been the co-main event. What do you think, Kareem? Or we'll go to Omar first.
No, like
Kareem
that.
Omar.
No, like, that's pretty fucking crazy. You get two guys fucking game and ready to go, and just swing and bang, like, wherever the fight goes. How do you not love both of these guys right now?
Yeah. I mean, Felder was going up in weight to take the fight, and Mike Perry needed a big win against a big name, and he got it.
Yeah. but like Felder got a set on him. Like,
Yeah.
ready to go. And Perry, like, I'm definitely looking forward to what's coming up for like both of these guys, because there's not too many fighters that, you know, like, first of all, like he goes up, takes a fight, super dope, puts on a fucking show, and makes no excuses. Like, no, that's the shit I love.
What did you think, Omar?
Felder's an animal. Felder's an absolute. He you know, if he was around back in the day, I think he could have run against Teddy Roosevelt and maybe given him a battle in a primary. He's just one of those rugged individuals that's eloquent, you know, and as comfortable speaking in front of a large crowd as he is punching a motherfucker in the mouth. Like, how do you? Words cannot express how gangster that entire thing was. He stepped up. It was quick. He came in. He did his job. Guy had a broken arm. He still kept going. I think he threw with it too, didn't he? With the fucked up arm. I think he probably just.
He was throwing elbows.
Yeah, like what? I mean, you know what it reminded me of, honestly, was Faber. Remember when Faber was throwing elbows and shit when his hands would go, just like,
Yeah.
dude.
I remember that.
Yeah, and there's this, and this is a guy that, you know, he was feeling disrespected a couple of weeks ago. He should never feel anything but our utmost respect. Like, just as a fight fan, you know, it's just an honor to watch a dude like that go to work in the cage, you know. And what's crazy is that while he's healing up, he'll do amazing commentary too. As great as a fighter as he is, and what I think he could be still as he develops, I almost don't want him to fight anymore, just because I mean, he's so good on the mic too. I don't want CTE to rob us of a good voice. I don't know, man. He's good at both, you know. But holy shit, and way to go, Mike Perry's starting to figure it out. He's going from just, you know, wild power puncher to okay fighter, man. I'm happy.
Yeah, putting it together.
So who do you think they give Perry next? I mean, it was an impressive performance. You don't want to put him up on that pedestal just yet for him to get knocked back down. So who do you think they give him next, Omar?
I would say, like, give me somebody on the level. Has he fought Mech yet? Did he put him away? Did they go to toe to toe? Is that what I'm remembering? So. Somebody like kind of on that tier, right? Like where they could both go and you know, I wouldn't be mad. Maybe it'd be a step up in terms of for Vic, but Vic was in the mix here. You know, just somebody that'll make it violent. You know, and hopefully they don't pull a Derek Lewis, Francis Ngannou, and it's more like Perry and Felder. So that's where I'd say, like, don't rush him. Let him have another full camp where he can develop. You know, he's at that weird juncture where if this camp change really takes, he can be phenomenal, I think, or like have a resurgence and longevity to his career. But it's not as though, you know, we've seen it from him with this one camp. I think it could go either way, you know. So,
what do you feel, Kareem?
Maybe instead of, like, you know, I mean, this guy's, throw him in there right at the top.
Well,
like,
you just want to see the guy go away, don't you?
No, not at all. When you see a guy that's just ballsy in game and just ready to go, I don't think you fucking stew him on too long where somebody might have a puncher's chance of derailing his fucking momentum. Like, I'm not saying give him up right up in the top three or something crazy, but you put him up there. Like, while he's riding high like this, while he seems to be like he's putting shit together like crazy, don't fucking let that go to waste. Don't let that heat go to waste on the back burner. Give him somebody right up front. Give him somebody that's like right at that tipping point where it's like, if he dusts him, if he fucking manages to roll through this guy, we got to put him right up
Cowboy.
there. We don't want to feed him to the wood
Cerrone.
chipper, because I think the worst thing anybody can do is fight a Cerrone that's on a full camp.
Well, wait a minute. They're
And,
both
like-
out of the same camp now. They're both out of the same camp now.
Loser leaves town. Does the loser have to leave camp?
Listen, I've never heard Cowboy
Well, what
be
about
one of those
Cowboy
I
Oliveira?
wouldn't fight him guys.
What about him?
Didn't he just I thought Oliveira just had somebody.
Well, so did he. That fight could happen.
So did
Let's
he.
see, who else? Well, the Yancy Medeiros fight. Maybe the Yancy Medeiros fight can happen since it didn't happen. Yancy got hurt, so that fight could still happen. I think with the win over
that might be a
Felder,
good turnaround.
I think with the win over the Felder, that kind of makes that fight a little bit more intriguing now, because before that, everybody was thinking Yancy was probably just going to dust him. What do you think, Omar?
I would think that it would be they would both have something to gain and something to lose from the fight, so that would make for a decent fight. So I wouldn't be mad at that in the least. I think you're onto something there. There's something going on in that Jersey weather there. It's giving you good thoughts. I like it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's hard to get a Hawaiian to fight apparently.
Whoa. How are we really? Jesus,
That's what we're doing. We're
Yeah.
doing that now.
apparently that's
Because I'm very angry. I'm very angry. We lost our real co-main event, and we got stuck with turds. That's what we got stuck with.
Nobody
Turds.
likes to sit down for a steak and be served a shit sandwich, but it happens. But to Bless's credit, he had every intention of fighting that fight. Not good form. Probably would have been the end of his career going in there with a concussion. It seems that bad. But he had every intention of fighting.
He would have come out like Rocky. That's bad. You're absolutely right. I'm glad I hate Bisping to a fucking T, but I'm glad he kind of snitched him out there. Hopefully, led to him getting looked at, because holy shit, if you watch that footage, right? Jesus.
I saw it, yeah.
Oh,
Fuck,
he
man.
looked terrible.
I
Dude.
missed the footage. I didn't see
Oh,
it.
he sounded like a stroke victim. Not to minimize any of it, but I think that's accurate, right, Kareem? Like, holy shit.
Yeah, that's 100% accurate. Bless was way off, way out of. And then
So that
I
must
gotta
have
say,
happened. That must have happened.
Like in camp.
Yeah, but that must have happened right before that interview, because he did UFC Unfiltered and sounded perfectly fine. He did the conference call and sounded perfectly fine. So that must have been at least a day or so before he did that interview.
One thing he
what?
didn't
You can
sound
hate.
was fine.
Yeah. You can hate on Bisping, but I liked the way Bisping did it, because he didn't jump right out and throw the concussion thing out there in the air. He kind of acted like, "Are you tired? Is everything okay?" Because you seem a bit tired. He was kind of hitting around at it, but he didn't put it right out there.
Was he reaching Chuck Liddell's level on that morning show?
Oh no. He wasn't that bad. He was alert and he was with it, but you could see in his eyes that somebody was behind the wheel, but they were not watching the road.
He was slurring.
You know what?
his
Yeah,
speech.
but
that's what got me.
I
It
make
was
jokes.
the slurred
I make jokes,
speech.
but
It
I
was
mean,
bad.
it is the safety of the fighters that comes first. And I'll tell you one thing: Brian Ortega's been getting a lot of shit from people because he turned down 2 fights that they offered. I'm almost on the fence. I get it. He doesn't want to lose that title opportunity, kind of like Frankie did. But were they offering an interim deal?
Yes, they were. They offered
yeah.
him Jeremy. I believe it was Jeremy Stevens. Or
And
was
Frankie.
it Stevens? Yeah.
Yes.
It was
Stevens
like
and
it
Frankie.
was.
Now listen, I gotta say, there is something wrong with a man who is the first person to ever knock out Frankie Edgar, if you're so confident in your skills going, I don't want to fight that guy for the interim belt.
Yeah, I can't disagree with you. I can't. I mean, Frankie did it for him, you know?
This is what I'm saying. Like, so forget returning the favor. Forget the run back on returning the favor. Like, listen, I don't care how skilled a motherfucker is. If I knock you the fuck out and I'm the first and only person to have ever done it in your career, and they talking about giving me you for an interim belt, which would guarantee me the title shot, yeah, let's do it. Let's go. All day long. Let's go. Because in my mind,
seen that fight again.
Riding a 14-0 hype train, and that's what I'm going to call him now, a 14-0 hype train, you can't intelligently explain why you duck out on not one, but two fights, and one of which with the guy you just put away.
Because I don't think the Stevens fight wouldn't have been interesting at all. I think he would beat Stevens well under 5 minutes of the first round.
Like those, you're like, oh, it's your time. Like, you know, if it's your time, bro, then fight the fights. Fight one of them. Like, they're not even asking you to fight and just fight. They're saying, hey, interim title. You could have probably said, like, if it was Frankie, he probably could have, like, he didn't even look at it. I feel like he didn't look at it right, because you turn down those fights and then you sit cage side and you feel some type of way about not being in there for the event. That's dumb. I would have took the Frankie fight, went for the interim title, used that as a springboard to getting more money out of the UFC, and fucking went and did my thing. Unless you and or your team were reasonably sure that you might not have beat Frankie that time out.
Omar, that's what I was going to ask you. Do you think it was in the back of his head, like, man, if I take this fight with either one of these guys, doesn't matter if it was just Frankie. I do think he beats Stevens, but let's just say he takes the fight with either one of them. Do you think it was in the back of his head, like, if I have one misstep, I lose the opportunity at the belt?
I think it was in his mind. It was a cold calculation of there's too much at risk. And as crazy as that seems from a fighter, you know, especially with what they do for a fucking living, you know, it's not how I would have gone out. But again, I'm not him. I didn't put together an undefeated, you know, a good undefeated run in the UFC. You know, he capitalized on a wild instance to get a hold of Frankie and do what he did. You know, I just think he had the UFC slightly by the short hairs, and I think he capitalized on it. Because what are they really going to do? Are they going to be that mad with him to not give him the Holloway fight now? Probably not.
Maybe if,
you know?
if something better pops up in the meantime, like what if Holloway gets better? There's nothing definitive lined up for Khabib. What if Holloway gets better and then, you know,
Conor comes
they try and do that. They try to run that one. Like, yeah, Conor is on the way. We got to see what happens with Conor in July. Like, yeah. I don't think it's going to be anywhere near as serious as people figured. Now they already did a postponement. They're like, they do a postponement. Like, whatever happens, Dana's gonna, like, he said he's basically waiting to see, like, what shit they're gonna slap him with. He's not going inside, but you know,
he's getting a ticket.
Like, he's got to see
disorderly conduct. He's getting a nice
essentially.
Yeah.
They got to wait and see, like, what's going to happen, and that's going to affect how the commission feels about fucking licensing this dude to fight. People
you just don't do the fight in New York, then you do the fight in Vegas.
Yeah, but you know, like, it's the look of it all for him. Like, oh, we're just going to like move it over because you don't want to. Like New York, I love my city, but New York is a god awful shit commission.
Yeah,
I mean,
like I wouldn't want to. Yeah, like it's 100% fact. They're a dog shit commission, and I'm sure when he's actually,
suck, you know,
like,
yeah.
I'm sure, like when he goes to court and they sit down and go, "This is what's going on." Somebody out of that commission is going to have something to say. Somebody's going to have something to say.
It's just going to be about money. That's all it's going to be.
Yeah,
They know what he's
100%.
worth, and they're going to whack him for it.
Now I'm like Ortega has. You don't want to say no excuse. It's his career. It's his livelihood. But for those reasons, he should have grabbed the UFC by the balls and been like, "All right, if you're gonna give me Frankie for the interim belt, I would have made what would be a borderline unreasonable request for money. Like, you're talking about on this notice to fight Frankie fucking Edgar for the interim belt. Give me this." Like, call their bluff. One of two things happen. They go, everybody wants to see you two run it back. They give you a counter offer that's decent, or they take your offer. Or a third thing is they say no. Then you can blame it on them. Like, hey, man, I just said I wanted a little more money. It's Frankie Edgar. Last minute, whatever. You're still a decent fan fave. Nobody looks at you crazy. Got offered to fight, just said no. Like, who the fuck, like, how, like, are you afraid to fight him again right away on the notice because you don't think you can put it together like you did before? Or are you just business-wise with your team so stupid you don't pick a perfect opportunity to bleed the UFC out for a few more bucks?
Yeah, it's one of those weird ones, man. It really is. I mean, I can't be mad at him for doing what he did because, I mean, yeah, everybody gave Frankie a big pat on the back for taking that chance, and yeah, he lost it, but, he's a warrior. He went out on his shield. This kid wants the belt. He doesn't just want to fight. He wants the belt. It's hard for me to fully fault him. I get it, but it really is hard for me to fully fault him because, I mean, who knows, maybe if they do set this other fight up with Max, it might be for more money. What do you think, Omar?
From a business perspective, it was the right move to make. The only other move he had was, I think, what Kareem said, was listen, go, okay. Because it's going to leak either way. Right, guys? Like, we know this sort of situation, somebody's going to get their feelings hurt and somebody's going to leak exactly what happened. Mm-hmm. Right? And if they leak some bullshit and it's not how it happened, then you could at least say, hey, listen, no, this is how it really ran back. So you want the narrative to be, I said I would fight him, but I wanted what I was worth. Then there's no like equivocation about, okay, you know what? Get your money, little duffel bag boy. Go and get your bag, sir. You deserve it. It's a bad situation for everybody involved, especially the UFC, and Lord knows they have the money. So try it. And if the UFC says no, then it's on the UFC for being, tightwad shitheads. And it's not on you, and we're not sitting there questioning whether, do you want to be a fucking fighter or not? He, of course, does. I get that. I'm not trying to disrespect him. He's one of my favorite guys in the division. I get that. But, sit there and ask, okay, cut me a check for $2 million motherfucking dollars, win or lose. Cut it for me right now before I walk in there. Cut it for me before I get the weight cut. You know what I'm saying? Like, you cut me a $5 million check, for fuck's sake. Cut me what you think you're going to need to save this. And, and honestly, like, I know it's hindsight, guys, but holy shit, I would have preferred to see, Ortega versus Bubba the grappling dummy instead of Derek Lewis versus Francis Ngannou. So, maybe it would have been money to really pump up a card. Plus, Ortega is enough of a star, I feel, at least in the beginning stages of his stardom, where I think he could have sold some more pay-per-views if he was on the card. I think it hurt him.
Oh, for sure.
Not having him there. So, all in all, ask for cash and get your money. And if they say no, then it's on them. Big deal.
Yeah, I mean, they did pay CM Punk $546,000 to get embarrassed. So, I mean, why couldn't Brian Ortega get that kind of money? Maybe more.
Because Ortega didn't have the stones to make a play for that money against Frankie. You're not getting that against Stevens. Not at all. Not even fucking close. Your best shot at that kind of money is Frankie. Except I think if they're not fucking business retards, I think the understanding is probably if we ask for that money for an interim title fight against Frankie Edgar, against a guy like running it back against the guy who was the first person to put him out, they would probably give it to him. Short notice to save the co-main, they would probably give it to him, and that's why he says no.
Why not? They friggin' put Cyborg in there against Yana Kunitskaya. Has anybody heard from her lately? No.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed that you had the name. Props to that. That's you're professional. Yeah.
It's just, it's just one of those things. Like, they made that fight the co-main. Why? Or no, the main event. I'm sorry. That was the main event. Are you fucking kidding me? This ain't Rocky. Rocky wasn't real.
That's terrible.
Rocky wasn't real. It was a movie. And he still didn't win. I don't know, man.
You're the worst. You're the worst.
Hey,
come on.
I'm the biggest Rocky fan you'll ever meet, but it's
He's one of your people, bro. That's what I mean.
Creed and Creed.
Yeah, I mean, maybe if you run the Kunitskaya Cyborg fight again, she wins, like in the Rocky 2 moment. But I doubt it. I doubt it. So, yeah, Ortega against Frankie would have been pretty big, and like Omar said, it probably would have gave them more pay-per-view buys. But he turned the fight down. And we got the co-main event that, Jesus Christ. You know how I said in the article that the Bob Ross reruns were doing better than UFC television? Bob Ross reruns get me more excited than that co-main event. We've talked about it enough. Let's just skip over that fucking horse shit. And let's get on to the main event of the evening. Sweet Jesus. Before the fight, and the rumors, when I was on that conference call, one of the questions that was asked to Daniel Cormier was, the rumor is Brock Lesnar is going to be at UFC 226. If you beat Stipe, will you be calling him out? And DC's exact words were, Brock Lesnar doesn't move for anybody. If he's going to be there, he goes, I doubt he's even going to be there. He's probably going to be watching from home. So either he was just really playing it off, which I think he was, because there were multiple sources for weeks that Brock Lesnar was going to be there. And Dana White, during the fight announcement when they had the big press conference, you guys remember because DC had that, that shocked face, that Brock Lesnar was probably going to be getting the winner of Daniel Cormier and Stipe Miocic. It was very weird that, he went up and said hello to John Anik and Joe Rogan saying he wanted to be on the podcast. Like, it was so WWE. It was weird. It was so weird. Bellator didn't even go that WWE.
What? Stop it. No. Hold on. Bellator didn't even go that. Wasn't Bellator where you had that masked man?
Oh, where they pulled the mask off. Yeah, that was pro wrestling, but this was just like this was like a WWE pay-per-view and Raw balled into one 5-minute piece before the fight even started.
It was bad.
Oh my God, what's he doing here? Why is he out here right now?
Yeah,
it was just so weird. It really was, and you knew right away something was going to happen. I don't think Stipe was going to call him out like that because I don't think Stipe really is a pro wrestling fan. But holy shit!
No, he's Stone Cold Stipe.
Yeah. So to get onto the fight, man, Stipe was winning. He really was. He was popping Cormier left and right with that jab. He was keeping the distance. He even shrugged a few of Cormier's clinch attempts and was holding him up against the cage. But man, once Cormier got inside and hit him with that short shot, baby, it was over. Omar, what did you think about Stipe actually being able to shrug off Cormier's takedown attempts? Because like you said, Cormier was helicopter slamming fucking Josh Barnett, for Christ's sake.
I'm just impressed with both. In a weird way, I'm impressed with both fighters. I think Stipe was doing some work, like you said. Cormier he spoke about it he had a little I saw it on Twitter today, like a little after fight press conference with Kenny Florian, Bisping, and Karen Bryant. And he just kind of described that he saw some tendencies that he wanted to exploit. And one of the things the biggest takeaway that I took from there was apparently he was thinking of coming into the fight at 230, and then his coaches were like, "Hey, bro, you're sleeping people in camp, and you're at about 246. Don't you lose an ounce." And I think that made all the difference, because to knock out a heavyweight from that close, I know it was pretty much on the button, but still, like, you dirty boxed him and knocked him out. That's wild. You got an underhook, you moved him, and yeah, he's people that don't grapple, I don't want to be that snob, but like the three of us know, you get that underhook, you can move that dude's head into your punch if you're savvy enough, and he did just that. And, oh my Christ! And he fought he finished. It was like the finishing move that you hit when you are the shorter guy. And you're having trouble at that range. The guy's rangy and peppering you with stuff. And it was just so beautifully executed. The footwork, getting under it. Stipe didn't want to give him the underhook, right? He fought it off a little bit because he's like, "Oh, no, I know what's happening." And then Cormier was just like, "Listen, bitch, I'm an Olympian. Hold this." And then there you go.
I think the longer the fight went, the more in Stipe's corner it would have been.
For sure.
Because eventually, I think Cormier was going to get tired.
That's what I think. Like, he didn't look bad at the heavyweight weight. It's just like you get so used to seeing Cormier down at 205, and then you see him back up there at 246, and it's like, God damn.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It was weird to see him up there.
He dove all the way to the bottom of the bucket of Popeyes.
Yeah, he didn't disrespect it this time, right? He paid it its propers, unlike what Derek Lewis said. But
yeah, I mean, it's got to make his training camp easier because he's not cutting weight. He doesn't have that irritability, just the irritability of itching to fight. So he was probably more comfortable. His training probably went better.
Now, do you know, out of
all
of that, the thing that I noticed, and I'm hoping you guys noticed it too, is when he calls Brock into the cage, Brock comes in and gives him a little tap and shove, and he steps back a couple of steps, and you see people in between them. Did you catch the moment where DC reached out and gave him a hard-ass shove with the one hand, and Brock didn't move?
Well, dude, Brock is considerably bigger than DC. Like, it's not even close.
And this is what I'm saying. Like, this is DC after training for a heavyweight fight. And he went to get, like, I saw Brock shove him. I'm like, Brock could have shoved him harder than that. This is like some nice little, set build up for the obvious fight that's coming. But then you saw, like, one of DC's corner guys, like, came over and, like, put his body behind the shove on Brock, and Brock didn't even pay attention to him. And then DC gave him that quick, like, boom, one-hand joint, and then he didn't move, and I was like, well, that's not good.
Well, dude, Lesnar was probably close to 300 pounds.
But, they say, like, when he fights, that he balloons back up. Like, when he fought Carwin, they said, like, he cut down and, like, just got in under the limit. And then, he, like, I remember Rogan, somebody saying that he was easily 285. Like, in his ranges, like, going up. Like, 6 months is a long time for this motherfucker to not do drugs.
That's what I said.
But Cormier, like, I'm not a fan of his yet, but I'm fucking impressed with this guy, like, every time he's stepping out. But I'll say, like, this is a big, big, big one to swallow. That is, like, this motherfucker, like, when he knocked out Randy Couture, he grazed him with that punch that put Randy down. Just grazed him behind the ear, and he fucking dropped. Like,
look, yeah, dude, they have to make special gloves for him because the biggest size gloves they have don't fit him. The guy is a goddamn bear. And he's been that way since high school and college. It's
he's been big
farm boy
for
genetics.
a long time. That's one thing. Like, yes, he's been on the sauce. We know this, but anybody that watches him like wrestle when he was getting his NCAA championship, like, he was so big and so goddamn agile that, you know, it's not all sauce. You know, it doesn't hurt.
I know,
Keeps
like
him,
the sauce.
keeps him young.
Like, it definitely. You know? That's what I don't get about Brock is like, you could fucking fart on some of these lighter heavyweights and fucking put them down.
Yeah.
Why the fuck do you do that? Like,
why? Because why? Perfect. Here's the reason why. Do you see the size of some of these guys in WWE? Like the Big Show was like 400, 500 pounds. He's got to pick this guy up and put him on his shoulders, not one time. He's got to do this for 15 minutes, 20 minutes.
Now, hold on. To that credit, there's several wrestlers who in their careers haven't pissed hot ever who have done the same thing now.
Well, just because, did he piss hot in WWE or did he piss hot in UFC?
You know what? Brock actually, I'll put it this way. You can't weigh him not pissing hot in the WWE by anything because his schedule, he wasn't like out there that long. Like when he first went back, that $5 million deal, he had a light schedule. He did very little. They would only trot him out on TV.
Well, dude, he's still got a light schedule. He's still got a light schedule. He barely wrestles, and if he does, it's on a big pay-per-view, and it ain't for very long.
Exactly. So he wasn't hanging in there enough to be tested. But then you look at guys like John Cena, who I
please,
like,
if anybody tells me that he's been clean his entire career,
listen what I said. Listen to exactly what I said. That he hasn't pissed hot in his career, and that guy runs a full schedule. I will say, like nowadays, with some of the suspensions you see for things as little as weed, like Vince and them like haven't lately played favorites with who's getting tested and then who's getting suspended and not. Like Randy Orton was like a big money maker for a while, and that motherfucker violated the wellness policy 2 or 3 times and got suspended.
Yeah, God, I don't know why, but I'm actually kind of excited for this fight. I've always wanted to see this fight when DC came into the UFC. Just like I would have loved to have seen Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar fight in the UFC.
I 100% wouldn't want to see that because Brock Lesnar would fucking rip him in half. Bobby Lashley is a fucking C-grade, poor man's crackhead version of a Brock Lesnar. Brock has a serious dislike and fear of getting punched in the face. Maybe it's a little more of a dislike than it was than a fear than it was when he first started. But the whole punching in the face thing is a problem for him. Lashley just gets jobbers and fucking potatoes thrown up for him. He runs through them.
Oh my God.
Barely runs through them, and then comes out with his hands up. So goddamn tired that
let me ask you a question. Would you want a 265-pound man punching you in the face? Just putting that out there.
For money, yeah. Definitely
but,
for money.
Listen, I was just about to say, but if I'm a fighter and I'm deciding to step into a cage, I'm doing so with the understanding that the other guy on the other side is going to try and punch me in the face. And no, that doesn't mean I have to like it, but somebody should do something about Brock's flinching.
Well, it's like you said, Kareem, at least he'll engage. He won't run. He'll at least engage.
He'll do and this is what I'm waiting to see. Like, I think if Cormier sees the bulldoze coming, because that's exactly what Brock's going to do, he's going to come out there with that weird hands-up stance, and when he gets within 3 to 4 steps of him, he's going to fucking rush him with the meanest power double you've ever seen. If Cormier times it, he could put him right the fuck out.
Like a matador.
The rumor always was, and I've heard it was actually true. Kurt Angle put it on Brock when they had a wrestling match, like for real. Yeah, I heard Angle was throwing him around, and Angle's probably a little bit smaller than DC at the time.
900 years old, probably too.
No. This was back when Brock was in his 20s, and Kurt Angle was at the top of his game. I mean, they were traveling partners, but I heard Kurt put it on him. You know, you hear a lot of stories from the people who were there, like Jim Ross, and they said it was a great match, but Kurt Angle put it on him. So I think DC could do the same, but there's punches involved.
But
there's punches involved, and it just takes one.
Brock and DC go back, and this has been a point of contention between the two of them forever. So some people might not realize that, hey, this is not just DC's heard of Brock Lesnar or, heard about his D1 career. Like, they know each other. This has been a back-and-forth thing long before the UFC. Who would beat who in a match? And now you're adding punches, kicks, knees, and elbows. So this isn't a surprise. This is the fucking platform the two of them have been waiting for.
Omar, let's go to you here.
I think DC has only one type of kryptonite, and that's the cocaine-infused version of kryptonite.
Seriously.
As much as I want to see Brock and DC go at it, I really do. I'm excited. I'm gonna pay for it. I'm not gonna front like I won't, right? Nobody here is, but I'm not going to start, fronting like no. Definitely gonna watch it. I'm gonna be here for it. I'm gonna, be excited to see it. I really, before DC rides off into the sunset with his big floppy hat and dad bod, I need to see him fight Jon Jones a third time at heavyweight. I need this fight to happen.
Listen,
either one of these guys, if either one of these guys wins, Jon Jones is the next opponent. And
that's a fact.
You guys read my article that I put out for Fight Book, which is, the fight that the UFC needs is not the fight that the UFC fans want. I get that. All right. I do agree that Stipe deserves a rematch. I do think that Curtis Blades has put himself up there to get a shot for the title. But guys have in common is they're both not going to make the money with DC that the UFC will make with Brock Lesnar. It just won't happen. It won't happen. It's not going to happen. Brock Lesnar is a huge name. He's going to be bringing the WWE fans with him. And look, it's not a CM Punk situation. Brock Lesnar has been in the UFC before. He was UFC champion. He beat one of the greatest heavyweights of all time in the UFC until Stipe broke, the record. He beat Randy Couture. So it's not like the dude can't fight. It's not like he can't fight. And as much shit as people talk, you will all still buy this pay-per-view, especially if they stack the pay-per-view. If they do this in January, like they're saying, because he's in the pool, he's in the testing pool, and he'll be cleared by January. If they do this fight in January for like the New Year's card or something like that, or even if they do it the week after New Year's, and you stack that card, holy balls. That's the fight card you want to get Conor and fucking Khabib on with those two. Even if you have those two as the co-main event, Lesnar and DC, sweet Jesus, the pay-per-view buys that will bring up. Don't you guys think so?
I want to see Bones back. I don't know who I want to root for in this fight because there is a lot of ways, like goodbyes, good show, stack the card. But I don't know,
the winner
man.
of this fight is getting Jon Jones at heavyweight.
But that's what I'm saying. Do you want to see Johnny Bones pick apart DC's legacy again? Because I just think this is one of those situations where he just cannot beat this man. Because, regardless of what anybody says about fucking cheating, coke, or whatever, in the little back and forth they had on Twitter between fucking DC and Rumble made an excellent point. Whatever you do, he said, cocaine and roids don't increase your fight IQ. Like, he knocked you out with a kick you knew was coming. Like, that was poetry.
Yeah, I don't think it would matter because I don't think it would destroy his legacy, especially
I'm not saying destroy his legacy, but the whole feel behind the, oh man, fucking Jon Jones gets you again. Like, your legacy is fine, but everything is going to be like, DC is like the greatest blah, blah, blah of all time. Except for that guy, Jon Jones. Or
yeah, except
like
well, wait a minute. Here's the difference. If DC beats Lesnar and they set up the fight with Jon Jones, DC will be considered the greatest of all time because he will be a 2-division champ who defended.
No.
Cemented.
No, he won't
UFC
be.
Hall of
Fuck
Fame.
out of here. If he beats Jon Jones, then maybe we have a conversation for him as definite GOAT. Until he does, I don't care if you call it technical losses, this loss, that loss. He got whooped by the same guy twice, and you know what? I partied and did coke, and I still beat your ass is probably one of the worst ethers since Nas did it to Jay-Z. So don't try to until that happens. That's always going to be a fucking caveat in any conversation. Tommy, come on. Yeah, if he beats Brock, it'll be amazing. It'll be great. It'll be awesome to see. We're all like, holy shit, Brock's nuts. But come on, man. Right, a 95-year-old Brock, no matter how good he is and how yoked it is, it's not going to have. It wouldn't have the same effect on his legacy if he finally overcame that boogeyman in his closet.
And he's not.
His career. Yeah.
Because very seriously, with the exception of a bullshit misunderstanding of a bullshit rule, Jon Jones is undefeated.
100%. 100%. Yeah, that's not a loss. Come on.
At heavyweight, so is Daniel Cormier.
Yeah, we're not talking about at a weight. We're talking about career. Jon Jones undefeated. Matt Hamill himself. So yeah, like it was bullshit. They won't overturn it, but Jon Jones is undefeated. And Daniel Cormier, who's Daniel Cormier lost to?
Jon Jones.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
So you fight Brock.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you. I want to see the fight, but if I don't see it, I don't really care. And I don't think DC really cares either.
Nah,
he's
full
with himself.
DC cares because DC just recently said that the last 2 fights of his career, in whatever order it happened, Jon Jones and Brock Lesnar, and then he's done. He said he gets that.
You better hope he doesn't lose to Lesnar then.
I was about to say he's gonna shoot for the money fight, and then it's gonna be Jon Jones, and he's done. That's what he was hoping. Like, Jon is on point. So like after the Lesnar thing, he's gonna be like, all right, here we go. That's what, like, it's hard to call. Like, I like DC enough now that I don't think I want to see Brock put a fist through his head, because then if Brock wins, Brock's a money man. Who's to say he's gonna sign anything beyond this one fight deal, which means he could fucking screw them on the whole Bones versus Brock fight, and then what? We gotta
the Bones versus Brock will do twice as much as Bones versus Brock versus DC.
Yeah, but Brock is like Brock's a money man. However much more it would do than when he's fighting DC. Like fighting DC is an easy choice for him. He's coming back in directly into a title shot for big money. Now once he has the title, Brock's gonna be like, maybe I'm calling some fucking shots now. Maybe I want a few million dollars.
Jon Jones. He will call out Jon Jones right in the center of that octagon.
But for how much?
Oh, they'll pay him.
I'm sorry, there's how many ways does Jon have to beat Brock Lesnar? A bunch. How many ways does Brock have to beat Jon Jones?
None.
This is what I'm saying. He's got the puncher's chance because every little thing you could think of, well, if Brock does this, it puts him in the range of two different ways that Jones would beat him. And like Rumble said, Jones's fight IQ is insane.
Too bad his life IQ doesn't catch up. You know what I'm saying?
Jones, I'm not a Jones fan. I wanted him to win everything he was winning because I'm a Rumble fan. And I was confident. I'm confident till this day that if he fights Rumble, he's going to get knocked the fuck out. Hard.
I'll tell you one thing. If it's Brock versus Jon Jones, I think USADA needs to take a sabbatical for that fight
100%.
and just let them do all the drugs. Just let them go nuts.
I think, and I'm hoping because before, even the Golden Snitch is I think Jon is a little lazy in his due diligence with his supplements, but he doesn't think it was an on-purpose thing because, you don't take Turinabol, right then before a fight. It's not in the system long enough to get any effects, but what they need to do is just pretend like they don't give a fuck if he does an 8-ball before the fight and let it be what it's going to be. Because you can frown on it socially all you want, but it is not on the ban list. So I don't want to hear complaints about it. I don't want to hear judgments on it. Let the kid go and party if that's what he's still doing. Get out there and win this fight and make history.
Yeah, I mean, isn't it safe to say this is the most excited that we've been about the heavyweight division in a very, very long time? I know we have some, with the Tuesday night contender, we have that idiot that fucking won, and we got our buddy Sean Teed that's going to be fighting on the contender at the end of the month. So but we're so excited about this title chase now, and for us, the hardcore fans, we were excited for Stipe, but now we have a champ in the light heavyweight and heavyweight division. I mean, it's amazing. That's amazing. I mean, could Randy Couture have done it? Maybe. I mean, he did win both belts. He didn't do it at the same time.
He would have done it if he got into MMA earlier, I think. I think we're seeing that, yeah. We're seeing what would have happened, I think. I
think he's lucky to have legs after what Enson Inoue was kicking him with his legs completely taped up to hell, where he basically had a cast on his
fucking
shin.
Pedro Hizzo, too, remember?
Yes.
Holy shit. Christ.
Yeah. But, he didn't do that. DC did that. Aside from Jon Jones, DC cleared out the light heavyweight division. Cleared it out.
It's the biggest high.
That's a fact.
In the heavyweight division of the UFC, he beat guys that were at the top. I'm not going to say they were completely in their prime, but he beat guys that were at the top. He beat Frank Mir, Josh Barnett. I mean, what he did to Dan Henderson was just criminal. That was
disrespectful. Disrespectful completely. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's an American. He's
Kareem
a goddamn American.
Kareem and I watched that fight together when I was bouncing at the bar.
that was fucking gross.
It was so sad.
I mean, the story is amazing. It's absolutely amazing, and the fact that he's undefeated at heavyweight is unheard of at this point. It's unheard of. He's only lost at light heavyweight, so Does cutting that weight make a difference? If he's fighting Jon Jones at heavyweight, is he going to be more comfortable? He's got to get through Brock Lesnar first. But Jesus Christ, it's exciting.
I wouldn't have wanted to see the
it's
fight at light heavyweight, though, guys, but I do want to see it again at heavyweight, right? Like, I wouldn't want to see a third fight at light heavy between the two of them.
I wouldn't not tune into a third fight, but I think a third fight at heavyweight goes the way the other two fights went.
Yeah, it does. I agree.
It's like when you sit across from a man, like you have a conversation like, oh, I know about that left kick, John. Like, you're not getting me with that left high kick. Like, I see it coming, John. And then he kicks you in the head with the left high kicking. Not taking away anything from DC, because that dude's fucking amazing. But Jones got your bench card. Accept it.
It's tough. For a competitor like that, it's tough.
Well, I don't know. I mean, he cemented himself in the UFC Hall of Fame now. Yeah.
Of course. Absolutely.
100% cemented himself in the UFC Hall of Fame. And I hate that everybody's saying that, oh, he's not GOAT status because he didn't beat Jon Jones. Well, you know what?
He's not. He's not.
I think he is.
No way. Get the fuck out of here.
I think he is.
You think he is?
Are you going to tell me that Randy Couture wasn't GOAT status for what he did?
No, because he's not Fedor. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I will never disagree with you on that. I will always fight that Fedor was the GOAT.
I'm saying, yeah. So yeah,
I will never argue that.
There you go. So we agree.
Dana ruined that fight for us, Fedor and Couture. Ruined it.
He should have made it happen.
Fedor's management ruined that fight.
Vadim Finkelstein, right? Whatever his fucking name was.
Yeah. He's just like, oh, you guys won't give us the money we want. He's like, that's a bit much. Oh, you don't want to give us the money. All right, here's the money. Fedor wants to keep doing combat sambo. Like, what are you, fucking nuts? No. Oh, you got to give him his freedom. Give Fedor his freedom. All right, man. He can do the combat sambo. Just come in and, 4 fight there. No, not enough money. Wait.
We got to co-promote now. Now we got to co-promote. Like, what? Are you crazy?
No. You see what I'm saying? Like, every time the UFC and Dana made a concession, they just found a new reason to not have him come in and get beat the fuck up by a UFC guy. And I'm not saying he would have got ran through. I'm not saying he would have got cut and bloodied up or knocked out. I just don't think that he would have been the Fedor people swearing he would have been had he accepted.
No, I think it was the cage. I think it was the cage. Because with the ring, I've always said this. If you remember the fight with Verdum, when Verdum slapped him in the triangle, if they were in the ring, he would have been almost out of the ring at that point, and they would have had to reset. So I think the cage definitely messed him up. The cage for sure messed up Prokop. You fight in that ring for so long, you learn ways to do things in there, just like these guys in the cage learn ways to, the wall walking. You can't wall walk on the ring. So, God, I still think that fight should happen. Just throw them out there in Bellator. Come on, Randy, you got one left in you. Just do the Fedor fight. You got one
Get
left.
out of here. No. Not under any circumstances do I want to see that happen.
Hey, before we begin to wrap up here, did you guys see the face-off between Tito and Chuck after the fight, or was it the Hall of Fame event? Did you see that?
Still less cheesy than Brock Lesnar in the cage, which is sad. It's sad.
You might think it was cheesy, but Chuck Liddell was pretty goddamn pissed off. You could actually see the steam coming off his mohawk. He fucking hates Tito.
Listen,
what?
Because did you hear how Chuck was quoted? Like what he said, and this is why he's mad. It's like this guy gets knocked out twice, and he's still talking shit.
Yep. That's on Instagram.
That is the thing that Chuck doesn't understand. He's like, it wasn't competitive.
No.
Like, yo, Chuck rocked you. Like, remember, like, what was I think it was the first one? Like, he puts him up on the cage. He's teeing off with, like, Tito, I'm leaving, talking shit. And then Chuck basically punched him and fucking TKO'd him through his guard. And you're still talking shit.
What was the fight that Tito tapped to strikes?
Was that
it was on video with Jenna, I think, and it was a cuckold video.
Yeah. I could see Tito being a cuck.
I mean, not wrong. I mean, I opened the door, but
see him, sitting on set,
looking all sad in the corner with like with a polo on.
As much as we were bashing that fight, and as bad as Chuck looked hitting heads, I kind of want to see it.
Stop it, you fuck! No, you're the one guy that started the fucking DC versus Shogun rumor, aren't you? You animal! Like, come on, bro.
No.
Listen, I don't want to see in a fight that I'm confident he's gonna knock Tito the fuck out in the first round. I just don't want to see it again, Chuck. I mean, come on, why?
I'm done. I'm done with that. Exactly. Stop it.
And that was like he was. When he was active, my favorite light heavyweight, like my favorite light heavyweight fighter was the Iceman. And at that time, my favorite heavyweight was Arlovsky. I think Chuck needs to stay on the side and just enjoy life, bro. Like, if you're so into fighting, open up a gym, try and be another fucking AKA or an AT. Like, do something like that. Try and bring in a bunch of up-and-comers and a couple of, vets and build up a gym to be a household name. Get out in front of the camera that way.
I think that the fact that Tito pulled out of their third fight has been eating at Chuck forever. Because he did the Ultimate Fighter. He didn't want to do it with Tito because he knew he was going to eventually pull out of the fight. I think he just wants that one last time to knock him out.
I think he just wants that one last paycheck, son. Come on. All right, he's got cocaine habits.
How much is De La Hoya actually going to be putting up for those two? Like we talked about, what kind of undercard is it? You know what I mean? What kind of undercard is it going to be?
As long as it's not
going to be
women's
up-and-coming fighters.
Again.
It's going to be some names that we know. You know what I mean? So what could these two possibly be?
Chess boxing. That's what the fuck.
Chess boxing.
Yeah.
Like, what could they possibly be paid? I just think Chuck really wants to put this guy out one more time. And God help me, I can't help it. Once I saw those two face off, I couldn't help but want to see it. I don't know what's happening to me. I really don't know.
You're
what's
a bad
happening.
person. That's what the fuck is it? Yeah, honestly, dude. Like, it's like two people with walkers beating the shit out of each other. Yeah, I watch it, when it comes on after, like, a YouTube video that I want to watch. I'll look around and let it play for 15 seconds. But I'm not going to fucking tell the general public that this is what I'm trawling for, or I'm going to sit in front of it and have them, hype it to me and pay for it, God forbid. No. Let it die. Nothing good comes from this. Tito could get knocked out and break his neck and die. Chuck could slip on the way to the fucking ring. Like, I'm done, man. This is no.
I know. I know we talked about this last week saying, it's not good, but I don't know. Just seeing those two face off, I was like, well, I guess it wouldn't be so bad. I mean,
you're a morbid individual.
Even Kimbo got in one last fight before,
Stop
the end.
Stop it. Yeah.
Too soon, guys.
Yo, bro, come on. Let the legend die peacefully. Let him be in peace. You know what I'm saying? Come on.
Well, I don't know. I guess it was just such an exciting weekend. Matt Serra was subduing a drunk. I was just wanting to see fights. Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Just because of how much fun he was having with them. All right. Okay.
You know what's funny? Is that's how it looks when I roll with him. It's the same thing, and I'm not drunk. You know what I'm saying? It looks that bad.
I wish we could have seen the double leg takedown, though. I wish we could have seen that.
Honestly, but yeah. I'm gonna sue. I'm an important man, Kareem. I'm an important man. I'm a chairman. Yeah, fly. Yeah, you need a chair, man. Like, sit down.
Yeah, God. But hey, you know, before we end, to touch on that, it was nice to see Art Davie inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame. How was he not one of the first people ever inducted in there, considering that the UFC was his idea?
Hold on.
What?
The UFC is about the fighters. So maybe there's just like, you know, before they opened it up with the different wings and everything else, it was just like an afterthought. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't a priority to look for non-fighters to get put in.
I got you.
Yeah, but the creator, I mean, that should be number one. But you know what? I mean, this year's class, you really can't complain about Dan Henderson, Matt, Art, and Ronda Rousey. Yeah, you could not complain about it. You know, it's great to see that she was in there. You know, I hate, she ran away. What'd she run away from? There was nothing more for her to do in MMA. She did it all. She was a champion in 2 divisions. She did it all. She did it. She did what she needed to do. And now she's making more money in WWE. Where are we complaining about, honestly? She didn't. I guess people could say she ducked the Cyborg fight. That's neither here nor there. But she fought everybody they put in front of her. She was a champ. She was a pioneer. And now she's in the Hall of Fame. I know Omar had a problem with the timing, but
so much.
You can't
so
deny
fast.
her spot there.
Oh, for sure. Eventually. You know. Give her a gold watch.
Well, they did it now. They did it now.
Probably needs to, yeah.
They did it now.
Ham-fisted.
All right, guys. Well, let's wrap this bad bitch up. This was a fun show breaking down the event. It was a good event. Hopefully next week we're going to line up a guest. I'm going to start talking to Jeremy with Shamrock and get some fighters on here. We need to start getting some more guests back on. So, yeah, shout-outs to our sponsors, 80K Fightwear, Black Hole Jiu-Jitsu, Madama Jiu-Jitsu, 2-Minute Warning Sports 360, and our family over there at Fightbook MMA. Guys, get over to RachelBlaze.com. Buy the shirt. She's got to sell like another 34 more shirts so they can keep the campaign going. You know, she was at...
She's down to 27. 27 more gets an extension.
There we go. 27 more. You guys can keep buying these shirts. You know, she really needs the help. We need to keep this campaign going with Grunt Style so she can get these implants taken out. There are thousands of women out there that are affected by this, and it's a bad scene. She's in and out of the hospital. She's got allergies to foods that she never had before. She could barely eat now. She can only eat certain things, and it's only, you know, a certain amount of time until she becomes allergic to those. So, you know, we need to help her. So get out there, RachelBlaze.com. You can go to GruntStyle.com. Buy the shirt for breast implant awareness. Omar, you guys got anything going on over there at Black Hole Jiu-Jitsu?
No, just still opening up that we have that 4th location that opened up in Westchester, closer to civilization. That and the Mayapack location is closer to the city. You know, they have more running water, and I think they have longer hot water in Westchester than I do now. So
outstanding. You got to keep that mule going to get that hot water. You know, to keep that fire stirred up for the hot water, right?
Yep. The little dog.
What is on the docket? What is on the docket over there at Madama Jiu-Jitsu? What do we got going on? We got anybody fighting? We got anybody doing some super fights? What is the deal?
Right now, I'm just kind of waiting to see what our guy Shammy's got coming up on the docket. As soon as we hear something, we'll get that pumped in right out there. And I know he's doing, like, Shammy's killing it, doing Rise Invitationals. He got a win not too long ago. His last one, he got a good draw in a hard-fought match. It was awesome. We're just going to wait to see what happened with those guys hitting him up or whatever else he's got coming up with Lou Negley and them over at Ring of Combat.
That's right, folks. Head over to Fightbook MMA. Check out my articles and all the other articles that are written over there. Go over to priderules.com where you can get our shows, you can get our blogs. Kareem's going to start writing a blog. Omar has to do his inaugural blog for the first time since the website's been up and running. So head out over to all those websites. Show your support for us. Buy some shirts from us over at Teespring. You love our product. Fighters have been wearing our products. You can check it out on Eddie Gordon's page. You will see him wearing the Pride Rule shirt when he's training. Sean Teed wears it when he's training with Fast Eddie Chambers. Get yours. They're on sale at teespring.com. I am your host, the Reverend Tommy D. Joined with me by my man Kareem and El Profesor Omar Sangarima. We are Pride Rules Podcast. Good night.
The Dream.